All right, we're live. Episode 5. How you doing, Ty?
I'm doing well. I am excited to do something that's a little closer to normal. It's been nice to have this in my schedule. World's a crazy place right now, but hopefully we can talk about some other things for a half an hour. So this week we are going to be talking about some content creation tools, little things that Jordan and I have sort of used along the way to create and post content. This is stuff that I really geek out about, and I know Jordan does too. And I know a lot of the stuff that we're going to try to focus on is going to be as accessible as possible. You're looking at somebody in myself who has used or found a way to abuse every free plan that anybody's ever offered. And so I just sort of hope to relay some of that to you. But there's going to be some paid stuff in there as well, because sometimes, and I've learned this, as I'll talk about with a program, that once you start paying for stuff, you realize that, oh, there's a reason they charge for it, because there's a lot of things that have been headaches in the past that become a lot easier. So we're going to start with Jordan. He's going to cover sort of the creation side, although there's going to be a bit of carryover, and then I'll hop into some of the distribution stuff on social.
For sure. So I always like to obviously come up with ideas. Like, where do people come up with their ideas? Mm-hmm. I'm big on pulling inspiration from other people. So I'm, perusing Instagram, YouTube, any other social platform. But another big one for me is Pinterest.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to pull up my screen here.
Great. I also like when you say like YouTube, I've been using a lot, not so much YouTube, but like Instagram and Twitter. Like I use a lot of the save functions. On Twitter, it's bookmarking.
Yep.
But on Instagram, the save function was never something I really used before. And now you can create different folders and stuff like that. And if I'll be scrolling stuff, and obviously all the stuff on the explore page curates to you. So a lot of mine is sort of graphic design type stuff, and I'll just save it and toss it in different folders. And I don't look at it very regularly, but if it's something that strikes me and I'm like, oh, I like that, I'll just toss in that folder. And that's what you'll show Pinterest basically is.
Yep. And great point. Cause you've sent me edits on Instagram and stuff too. And I have all those saved on my Instagram, and I go back and look at those all the time just to, basically check in and try to spark ideas again.
Right.
But this is an example. So I just labeled this board content ideas. So basically I go through and just start saving stuff that I think is cool and that I could possibly use in the future. And then if you just click more ideas here, and this is basically where you can kind of just go into the rabbit hole of just super unique and cool content ideas that I can just pull little bits and pieces from to try to, draw some inspiration. So
yeah. And for me, for whether you're using Instagram or Pinterest or whatever, it's never been so much like straight copying a concept. Although for me, somebody who's not super talented, I always like to learn different strategies. I like to try to recreate things that already exist. But it's fun to use different techniques that you see people use. You can look at this board right now and say, oh, that's a fun way to play with text, or that's a fun way to play with shapes or different outlines or filters or stuff like that. And it's never so much ripping an idea as much as it is just taking, like you said, inspiration.
100%. So obviously next, I do a lot of video work. So if I want to be posting something on socials, and we talked about this in a previous episode, I'm going to use Premiere Pro, just edit the aspect ratio, set it up for Instagram or LinkedIn, wherever I'm going to post it, and I posted it. But another great tool to use, which spins off of Premiere Pro, is Premiere Rush, and it's a mobile app.
I was going to ask you about some of these, because I know they have Adobe Spark, and they have a bunch of different apps. Lightroom is even an app on your phone now. But talk a little bit about this. I'm super interested.
Right. So this is basically, I'll use it if I have iPhone footage that I just want to cut up super quickly, maybe toss on a title, whether it's for stories or an actual Instagram post. But basically you're able to, edit on a timeline on your cell phone and add titles, export certain settings, and then post it straight to your socials, which is a super great tool to use, especially if you're on the move doing something quick. You don't need to take your laptop with you.
Yeah.
I mean, you can use it for desktop, as you can see here. I don't do that because I use Premiere Pro, but it's a super quick and easy tool to use if you're trying to get something quick out on Instagram.
Yeah, so I think that's super helpful. It's probably a paid app, or is it part of the subscription? Is it part of the suite?
That one is part of the suite. So if you have Premiere Pro, I'm 99% sure you get Premiere Rush automatically.
Yeah.
But yes.
And And I know a lot of those apps, like the reason I would use them or have used them in the past is to change that aspect ratio or stuff like that.
Yes.
That's a little bit harder to do. I think in the Apple iPhone Photos app, you can now change aspect ratios on videos, which has been super helpful.
That's a new thing.
Which is great. I also know I've used Splice, which is an app in the past that kind of allows you to do.
I think that was GoPro, wasn't it?
A similar thing. Yeah, I think GoPro brought them or founded them or whatever it may be. But yeah, a lot of better apps than some of like this traditional like iMovie and different things, things like that. And I actually have one too that kind of achieves a similar result. But go ahead.
Sweet. So then, I mean, I use Premiere Rush, but if I'm like editing on my desktop and I want a quick title, I know a lot of people will go on. I use Motion Array and they have graphic packs and whatnot. And that, I mean, that to me is just kind of a hassle. I don't like to do that. So I have this app. It's called Mojo, and I actually found this idea from a YouTuber, Patrick Tommaso. Let me pop up the screen here, but basically it's a story editor. So you're just supposed to be using it to do Instagram stories, but they have all these sweet, like right here, you can see all these sweet text graphics and titles. And I use this 95% of the time for my titles now. So what you do is you basically just put it on a, skip forward, you'll see him do it, but yeah, you put it on a white screen, black screen, and then you type out your title, export it, and then airdrop it to yourself. If you have Mac, it's super easy. Yeah. And then you're able to, in Premiere, and like you do the same thing in Photoshop, you set the blend mode to screen, and then it's basically a transparent title file. Wow. And I use that 95% of the time for my titles.
Is that a free app?
It is free. I have the paid version just because you get more title options, but if you have the free version, you still get some, usability out of it.
Dang.
But it's super great. Yep. Mojo app.
I've never heard of that. That's awesome.
And they're known for basically just their story templates, which I've used a couple of those as well. They're super cool.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of great free resources like that. And I know the different times I've needed different motion graphic. If you type in something that you need, free at the end of it, odds are, maybe you have to toss in your email onto a different website or something like that and sign up for an email list. But there's a lot of really great free resources out there. And that's a great one.
100%. And then people use stock photos, and just to touch on it quick, I think are great ones. Unsplash.
Love that. Yep.
If I'm gonna use any kind of stock photo, I mean, obviously they're sticking with the times, and they're relevant to what's going on in the world. So it's great for bigger companies that want to maybe post something and put their own spin on it.
Yeah.
But they're more modern. They're not, to me, they're not so stereotypical stock footage.
Yeah, you see the stock photos that are just brutal, and there's no like style to them. Like it's so cookie cutter, and you can see even as Jordan scrolls through these, like these are individual photographers that have their own editing style and have their own filters, and it's really a matter of finding the mood you're looking for and the type of photo you're looking for. But it's really high quality photography on here,
for sure.
It's 100%. And I love that too.
Yeah, 100%. And then in terms of just photos in general, I use Adobe Lightroom, which is now free on mobile.
Yeah, but
this is super. If I have a photo and I just want to, touch it up quick, add a few changes, and then post it, Lightroom mobile is, your go-to. People use VSCO for that too. Is kind of does the same thing, but I like Lightroom just because I use almost everything Adobe too, which it's a whole different topic. But this is actually a really good app just to get some quick edits done, get something posted quick. Same concept as that Premiere Rush.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And yeah, this goes great. VSCO, however you say it. It is sort of, I like it because more of like a beginner, like there are just straight filters that you can throw on that oftentimes look really good. And then there's more detailed edits that you can make as well, but both accomplish sort of a similar purpose.
For sure. And then this last one here, it kind of segues into what, you're going to talk about, but I use Hootsuite for scheduling. I don't do a whole lot of Hootsuite with my personal accounts, but I do it with this Star Wars account I have.
Huge.
Basically, then I can just set stuff and then forget about it and let the account run.
I love it.
And so I do a post a day and just let them run. So I'll schedule probably 3 weeks out in advance.
Yeah.
Takes maybe 2 to 3 hours.
Yeah.
And then I just let it roll. but it's super easy to do. You can just, you know, go to new posts, you select your account.
I wish Hootsuite paid me. I love Hootsuite so much. I'll talk about Hootsuite all day, every day, because their free plan is like the best free plan that you can get. It's 30 scheduled posts at a time, which is fantastic because like Buffer, who's their main competitor, only offers 10 for the free plan. Later, which is an app that I have recently started paying for, doesn't even offer video posting in their free plan. So Hootsuite is so good. I think the user interface is like the best. It's so easy to use. It's not pretty, but it's so easy to use. And no, it's like literally the most fantastic app. And I tell everybody who's in your position who wants to like get stuff out consistently, I'm like, just schedule it out first of all, and then use Hootsuite because it just makes it so much easier. Like you don't realize when people think about like posting on Instagram, like you don't realize how arduous and tedious of a task it can be unless you do it every single time. And like it literally only takes like 2 minutes to do it manually, but those 2 minutes are the most grueling and unforgiving 2 minutes of your entire life, especially when you can schedule it out and just have them gone.
The big thing for me is writing like a caption. Like to me, I don't see myself as a good writer at all, or even like a good speaker, just articulating words. So if I'm like posting something on the spot and I have to sit there and think of a caption, like my mind just goes into mush because I can't figure it out for some reason. So having Hootsuite where I can just crank them all out quickly and just forget about it and not have to think about it, it's perfect.
That's so great. You can get that flow of it. It like the whole like content curate, like you said, it takes you a couple hours. I think it's important to note, like that's from getting all the content to posting it all, which is
making
really
the content too if I have to.
And if you were doing that like 3 weeks once a day, I'm sure that would take you more than the amount of time it takes you to sit down and do it once, just because you have everything open at the same time. You're in that state of making it all happen. Like it just makes it so much easier.
Yeah, very true.
That's awesome.
All right. Okay. No, all the tools that, I mean, I use more, but those are some of the main ones I use that have been really helpful for me.
100%. Well, let's hop into mine though. Maybe we can talk about some more at the end. I want to start kind of a rough transition, but so the same effect as like Premiere Rush or any of these I use, because I'm operating on desktop a lot, and this is what I do for 5-star, or what I did before I started using Premiere. I'd use Keynote, so you can set, and you can do the same thing in PowerPoint, but you can set a slide to the whatever aspect ratio you want it. Then you can overlay a video. You can overlay different layers. So like you can see I have my logo down there. And then when you come up to export, you can just export it as a movie. So it exports as an MP4 file. And this was my free quote, it's free way to export in different aspect ratios for a while and layer things, because the iMovie, the free thing I was using before, didn't allow for that. And so this is what I use now. And I still use it sometimes, although like I said, I use Premiere more, just so I can batch export and everything like that. But
this absolutely blew my mind. The fact that you could export when you made a LinkedIn video about it, and my mind was blown. I was like, it's such a unique way to do something that you typically honestly have to pay for.
Right.
But it's so easy just to do that and do it for free.
Yeah, no. And I could talk for days about like, not having the resources. There's like I said, you're looking at the person who abuses free things, like like I was charging people to edit videos, and I was editing in my iMovie, and it's like there's so many different tools that you can use in iMovie, in Keynote, in all these free platforms that can turn out to be a really professional product and a really high quality looking product. You don't necessarily need those tools. And honestly, when you get those tools, like for a couple months, I was like, when I started using Premiere, I was set back in what I thought my skills were, because I was so comfortable using iMovie and so comfortable using like Canva and all these different things, that when all of a sudden I was using a more professional software, I thought I was worse for a while, just because I had such a learning curve to overcome, which is ridiculous to think about. And obviously your ceiling's higher when you're using those platforms, but it's really true.
For sure.
Awesome. So to the same tune of Hootsuite. So like I said, I'm Hootsuite till I die kind of guy. They should sponsor me for how much I talk about them. But I also talked about at the beginning, like there's a reason people charge for things. And so when you get into paid plans, paid plans is a little bit of a different story. I think Buffer and Hootsuite and later.com, which is what I'm using here, are all a little more close to similar once you look at the paid plans. And for me, it came down to pricing. And hold on, I can probably pull up the pricing for later, because it was kind of a no-brainer when you look at it for what you're getting. And so you can kind of see here, these are yearly prices, so you have to pay in one bulk, but you get for only $7.50 a month, $7.50 a month, you get a pretty unlocked suite of things. And it's really great. It kind of just acts as a normal scheduling software. But what I thought really they separated was in this second tier, and this is the one that admittedly I have signed up for, where you get 2 social profiles per platform, which is fantastic. 250 posts. The post has never really been a problem, but you get so much stuff. You can see here in the second row, literally everything as I scroll down is unlocked.
Oh yeah.
And that's like first, like things like that I didn't realize were helpful, like having the first comment be auto posted. So I never have to worry about doing the Instagram line break thing again, because I can just auto comment my first set of hashtags, which are also saved in the like thing. So I never have to copy and paste them ever again. There's hashtag, like all the stuff. I don't know even know if I'll use half this stuff, like best time to post on Instagram. They have location tagging. You can do, it supports multi-photo posting to where like it sends you an alert to your phone, which is what all these platforms do. But you can also multi-post with photo and video on a carousel. So you can like mix and match with which other things can't do. It does the stuff that you expect it to do. It does tags. It does hashtag recommendations, like all this like crazy, like I said, stuff that I will probably never use all of it. But I just loved that for $16, to give you an idea, Hootsuite and Buffer are closer to $20 a month for what basically this $750 is. So for less than the price of Hootsuite and Buffer's base plans, you get all this sort of stuff. And I didn't really need 2 social profiles per platform, but I certainly have enough social media profiles to use it. So I'm using this for some freelance work, and then I'll throw 5-star in on it as well, just so I can even have less to worry about with 5-star. But it's really quite an incredible, and like even for $24 a month, like this is competing with the base plan of Hootsuite and Buffer. And this is like their kind of their creme de la creme style plan. So really a really powerful tool. Like I said, once you start paying for things, you start realizing benefits that you have. And I sort of talked about them a lot, but so to kind of walk you through like a workflow. So, say I want to post this video. This is for a freelance client that I'm working with, Line of Scrimmage, actually, just locked it up with them, which is great. But, you can come from here. Obviously, I have both of these profiles linked. You can create the post. You can create the caption. So whatever it may be. You can have save captions. That's where I save my hashtags. Or then you can even have hashtag suggestions, which is really fantastic.
Oh, that's huge.
Yeah, obviously editing here. And then when you click next, it brings you to where you can customize it per thing. And so this is where the first comment, I'm dealing with Instagram, so I'm going to talk about Instagram a lot. But like for 5-star, let's say, I go into add first comment, and then my save captions, and my hashtags are just right there. And then when that posts, it'll automatically post in the like stuff that you don't even realize. Like Jordan will know, because I'll talk about it here in a second. This Instagram line break thing, like that used to be a whole extra step of like copying and pasting the caption into the thing, blah, 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 blah. And like all of a sudden it's just right there, which is fantastic. And you can have locations, and you get like all this sort of stuff. And it's so you can even choose the thumbnail of the video.
Damn, you're selling me on later.com right now, Ty. I'll be honest.
It's literally incredible. Oh, also there's something that you never think about. On Buffer, you can't search emojis, which is the most frustrating thing. So like if I wanted to search for like, oh, look at muscle right here, like you can't search for emojis. Although I will say Hootsuite has the best emoji suite where you can search and it gives you your recent emojis. Because if you're using emojis, you always use like the same 15 emojis, and it gives you those same 15, which is so fantastic. But oh wait, I just found all my recently used emojis. Never mind, later's fantastic.
Boom, there we go.
That's awesome. Although Buffer looks, or Hootsuite looks a little better, but it's fantastic. Like I said, you can even schedule stories. So hold on. If I just go to Instagram here, you can like, I had a story scheduled where you can upload the media and schedule it out. And then it sends a push notification to your phone. And then you go to the push notification, you click it, it brings you right to Instagram. And then it saves that photo into your thing. And so all you have to do is add the, take the photo, put on your story, and then you're out. So you can even schedule stories like that, which is fantastic. There's a preview where you can look to see like what your feed's going to look like. And when you have scheduled post, so like all these right here are scheduled. So that's what it's going to look like. And I can move it if I want this one to come before this one, like that sort of thing.
No way.
It's crazy. And like I said, it gives you like link and bio options. Like I haven't even set half this stuff up. The nice thing about freelance is that I get 2 users. So I added the client onto later. So if he ever wants to check anything, which he said he did, he can go through and look on it at his own time. There's all these sort of tags, like different ways to get media. Like if people are tagging you and stuff, you can auto upload it. It's crazy. It's insane. So a really powerful tool. And I talked a lot about later just now, but like something I'm super stoked about and excited about. And I'm paying $16 a month for, so I better be. But it's something that you kind of realize like pays yourself back really quickly. Like this is probably going to save me, like even if it literally, let's say I charge $20 an hour for work, even if it saves me an hour of work, like over the course of a month. Like this is going to save me an hour of work over a course of a month. Like all of a sudden it's paid itself off. So really kind of fun there and fantastic. So I just
that's awesome.
Hootsuite.
That opened my eyes quite a bit, honestly.
Later. Yeah. And like I said, I think for people who want to do it free, Hootsuite is unmatched. It's fantastic. Yep. If you want to start paying, I would look at later. I'd really seriously consider later. So that's really fantastic. Probably a bunch of whole other features I haven't talked about. Okay. So this next one, and this is kind of null and void, like I said, if you're using later, but if you're using Hootsuite or any other apps, or even if you just want to do it manually, what this does, and if people that post on Instagram know this, when you post on Instagram and try to click enter and add a space in between things and you end up posting it, Instagram just smushes all your text back together, which is like the most annoying thing in the entire world. I don't know why. It makes no sense. But what this thing does, and it's called appsforlifehost.com. You just search there and you'll bring you to this page. So let's just say you want to have a caption and then you want to put some spaces in and you want to have another caption and you want to put some spaces in. Usually my workflow is like, I'll have the caption typed out somewhere where I can add emojis and I'll just paste it here. And then all you do is click this button right here. And then when you paste it, you know, wherever you paste it, it won't look any differently, but when you post it to Instagram, those line spaces will be in there, and that's all it does. So that one's always been really helpful for me because I think it's a really powerful way to format your posts. Also, I like to hide my hashtags underneath the fold, and then all that stuff won't be stacked on top of each other. Another tool, Jordan sort of talked about it, is Canva, which was what I was using 100% solely. You can even see like old how the hue graphics because it's what I was using before I used Photoshop and stuff. Canva's great. I don't have much to say about like the graphic capabilities are good and you can upload pictures and stuff like that. The one part that I love about Canva is the fact that it has so many templates, like a ridiculous amount of templates. So literally if I want to search like an Instagram, let's just search Instagram and see what I can get. So you can get an Instagram post template, Instagram story template, and then you scroll through here and it's all these templates that you can use. It's so powerful. And I was even asked to do something today really quick. And I thought, well, I could either create it from scratch in Photoshop or I can come to Canva and just do a really high quality thing super quickly. And I don't know, Jordan, if you know, if like, I'm sure Adobe has different stock templates like this that you can edit, but I just love the ease and it's, again, free.
They do. And yeah, it's so easy to go. Honestly, I'll go on Canva sometimes and just like I do with Pinterest, I'll just scroll through and look for concept ideas. Yeah. And then another feature that I like to use on Canva is their icons.
Oh, fantastic.
So if you go into their elements and you just want something like a line really quick, you don't have to go to Google Images and, you know, find a free one. You can just go to the elements, put it on a, 500 by 500 pixel, whatever, and then export it as a transparent background, and then boom, you have it. So I use that all the time.
And they're really like gassing up their stuff. Like you can do video and stuff like that. They have like animated different icons now. So you can kind of do like fun, like GIFs and videos and different stuff like that. There are limitations since I don't have the free version, but basically if you wanted to come in here, make a story, edit all of this, do all these icons, some of the icons will be paid. So you'll kind of denote like this pro version, this is a paid icon, but this one's free. So it's like, there's different things that you have to work through, but a fantastic tool. Something that really will make you look like a graphic designer, even though you might not be. And that's definitely me. So it's fantastic. I also love it. Like if you're looking for like a logo for your business, if you just search logo, there's all these great templates for logos that you can use. And so just another great like little tidbit about Canva that I really like.
For sure. And going off that logo thing, I got hired to just design like it was a logo, but it was meant to go on a t-shirt. And they wanted like a bunch of different designs and concepts. So I literally just did what you did and just went to logo and just spun off a bunch of ideas that I found on that, and they loved them. So
dude, I'm pretty sure you can do, I'm going to get into a really deep rabbit hole. I'm pretty sure you can do mockups on Canva, but I'm not sure.
I feel like I've seen that too.
I'm pretty sure you can do mockups, whatever. We're going to close here with this isn't really a posting tool. This is like an after you post tool. It's called Socialblade, and I also love Socialblade. And I'm surprised at how few people know about Socialblade because it's you didn't know about it. It's one of the most stacked analytic platforms that is available to everybody and free to everybody. And it's so helpful to use. I mean, it's helpful for me. I have many Instagram grudges, and I'll look and I'll be like, well, your engagement rate is lower than my engagement. So I'll be able to kind of hold those true. But it's also great for somebody like me. Like, this is all publicly available information. So basically the whole impetus is it's just the data that they pull is stuff that you could technically figure out. Like, you could technically figure out how many followers I gain each day, but you're not going to go through and calculate it yourself. So they just pull all of that from Instagram, or they pull what my engagement rate is, which is simply my likes and comments over the amount of followers I have, all that sort of stuff. It'll chart out some things for you. Like, this is how many followers I've gained per month over the past 2 years. You can zoom out on it. I messed up there. It's not like super in depth, and there's obviously places you can pay for more information. And it's honestly, like, it's helpful to know for accounts that you're running, but it's way more helpful to know for other people's accounts or other accounts that you might want to work with, or different things like that. If you're working with a client, I've used this a couple times to sort of do a benchmarking or a breakdown of what they're currently doing. So you can kind of see how much they post per day on this media side. You can see how many followers they're gaining per day, how many people they're following, and you can see their engagement rate and their average likes and average comments. And you can kind of get an idea for how they're doing on social media. It's kind of a great overview. And then you can kind of come in with your solutions or your fixes or different things like that. But you can use it for a lot of platforms. So the big one that I've seen is like YouTube. Like, a lot of YouTubers like to use Socialblade for their live subscriber counts. I hope that person's okay. That's going to that ambulance. Oh, he paused himself. Great.
Just muted it.
Yeah. So there's a whole bunch. Like, I haven't even used TikTok before. But there's Instagram and Facebook and YouTube and all this sort of stuff. But like I said, I use it for Instagram. And some of these are actually live. So if you go to YouTube and you search MKBHD, right? Yep. You can see a lot of these numbers that end up being live somewhere. So yeah, you can see this is his live subscriber count down here. And wow. So different things like that. And on YouTube, it also gives you sort of an estimation of how much money they make. Although this is certainly not his account because he doesn't have a lot of subscribers. But
the picture they use,
it's different. So it might, whatever. But it'll give you estimated earnings and different stuff like that. But it's a great tool, like I said. So if I want to buy a shout out from somebody on Instagram, I'll look and I'll say, okay, Heisman's, how many what's their engagement rate like? 9.1%. That's pretty good. Mm-hmm. How much are they posting per day? Because I realize, Jordan, this is something that is super tricky that people do on Instagram. So they'll post, and then if the post doesn't do well, they'll just archive it. So when you look through their post and you aren't paying attention, it'll only be their high performing posts remaining. So you'll be like, oh, this is a really great page. But then when you look at it, you're like, these posts are weeks apart from each other because they're deleting the posts that don't do well. So you can see how many posts that they have. You can see how many followers they're gaining. So this guy that I know actually is doing very well, 15,000 followers monthly, which is fantastic for him. He has some 1,000+ follower days, which is awesome. And you can see the follower counts, the average likes, the average comments, all that sort of stuff that you can kind of understand. You can kind of get a picture for like how his followers are doing. It's kind of interesting to see these charts. It's pretty true with 5-star. If I go back, I'm probably just boring everybody now, but I'm geeky about it.
This is all free, right, Ty?
It's all free, 100% free, and all publicly available. And like the caveat is, if their account is private, you won't be able to see this stuff. But if they have a public account, which most big accounts do, you'll be able to see all this stuff. So like, it's also interesting to see trends. So you can kind of see like, oh, look, in July and June of 2018, I started posting. In the month of July, I posted 118 times. That's what that media means. Also in the month of like July, I was starting to gain followers and stuff like that. So you can kind of see trends, and these lines are going to mirror each other usually.
Figure out what's working,
figure out what's working and what's not working, different stuff like that. So yeah, it's really interesting stuff. It's kind of peels back the curtain, but like I said, I'm really surprised at people that don't know it because it's such a powerful tool for either yourself. Like it can be way more powerful than what the analytics are on the platform, and also great, like I said, for seeing other people. So
that's so cool. I'm gonna use that now again.
Yeah. No, it's great, and that's all I have. But it's a lot, and that's everything that Jordan talked about. Everything I talked about is literally the stuff I do on a daily basis and use every single day. And like I said, all of it or almost all of it's free or has some sort of free plan, and so there's really no excuse to like not be doing something just because you're scared of those hurdles.
Right, and the whole point of this stuff is to make our job easier or quicker, more efficient, and B, make our product better. So. These tools that we use, I mean, most of them are doing both of that. So yeah, they're awesome.
Yeah. I think there's really something to be said about like automating what you're doing, or trying to come up with a better workflow for what you're doing. That's why I'm constantly auditing the tools that I'm using, switching things around, looking different directions. Sometimes I've had to take a step back to take many more steps forward. That's like that iMovie to Premiere example. Like for a couple months, I was probably worse off than I was in iMovie, but then you realize your ceiling's higher of different things that you can be doing. So it's all about constantly thinking about that and trying to make the most out of your time. Because for somebody like you and I who gets paid for our time, it's kind of important to be making sure we're using it the most effectively.
For sure. Well, look at that, Ty. Right at a half hour.
We're so good at this. I mean, like a half an hour every single time. It's like we're programmed. Well, we'll be back next week with some other something else that we're gonna do.
Figure it out.
Jordan, I had an idea. We'll just let people in that we talk about TikTok, and so we both do a bit of like research about TikTok, but also we spend the time and we try to like see if one of us can get a viral TikTok over the course of the week. And so we each take the whatever however you want to do it. Like, I don't know, like you probably have a TikTok and I have a TikTok too. It's like, I just post dumb stuff on it, but like we try to take that week to try to make something viral, and we can see if one of us can do it, and then what works and what doesn't work. And we could talk about it and kind of break it down. But I thought that'd be like a fun challenge over the course of the week. So maybe I don't want to do it this week. I'm gonna be out of town this weekend, and I don't want to lose out on that time, but maybe next week, maybe we do a preface episode to like what TikTok is. I don't know. There's a whole bunch.
Yeah, I like that. Let's do that, like a preface episode, and then we can just cover it quickly the week after, and then dive into something else, or we'll figure it out. I don't know. We always figure it out.
That was an idea I had, so we'll talk about that. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Make sure to follow us on Instagram. I think we also should make a LinkedIn, because every time I post on LinkedIn, I want to tag swipe up, but then I can't tag swipe up. So I think we need to make a LinkedIn. So Instagram, YouTube to watch all this stuff, everywhere you listen to podcasts, even on iTunes. Okay, great.
Boom. Bye.
See ya.